Oh, sleepy. Okay. So don't worry. Today we are ending up with this analog and we are starting with digital. Fine. So from next class onwards, you won't feel sleepy as you people will be solving problems. Fine. Yeah. So guys, sorry I had to wind up last class bit early. So I heard that someone was asking some doubt. So what was that? If anyone is still having that, who was that asking? If you are having the doubt still, I'm ready to clarify. Okay, so any doubts regarding the last class session? So if you're having any doubts, you people can ask. Fine. So else we can continue with today's session. So let me start recording the session. Yeah. So guys, in the last class, we have seen the operation of filters. So in that we have also seen, so guys, any problem with the my audio or with the video, you people can stop me, interrupt me. So as you can see, I have shared my entire screen and I'm in the this thing, not able to see your chats. Fine. Okay. Yeah. So in the last class, we discussed about the active filters. Okay. So in that, we have already seen the working of all four types of filter. So which are those four filters? Low pass, high pass, band pass, as well as band reject filter. Correct. So we have seen the working and we have also seen the analysis, mathematical analysis part of that one. Okay, so now by seeing all those things, so we are moving to the next application of the op-amp. The next application is nonlinear amplifier. What exactly this nonlinear amplifier? See guys, amplifier we know. Okay, so what is the job of this amplifier? So amplifier is the one which is going to strengthen your signal. Okay, so strengthen your signal. If this is your input, so after amplification, so it will increase your amplitude. This is what in simple terms we can define amplifier. Okay, so now tell me, what is the relationship between this amplification? See here, when you have applied, see, for example, if you have applied an input wave like this, what will be the output wave? So output wave will be like this. Okay, so let's assume. So if you have applying the input wave like this, output wave will be, it will be like this. Okay, so now you can see this output is linearly increasing with respect to the input. Okay, so if you are applying a very small amount of input, so then the output, amplified output, what you will be getting will be small when compared to this case. Okay, so what is happening here? So here you are applying the input which is, the amplitude of this input is more than this one. Okay, so here the input also you are increasing. Similarly, the amplitude of the output is also increasing. So what you can say, in a linear, all those amplifiers whatever we have seen, so they are linear in relation. So input is going, output is going to increase linearly with the input. Are you getting this one? Whereas here what we are talking, so it is a non-linear amplifier. What is this non-linear amplifier? So here in linearity, if you are applying small input, then gain will be small. Yes, you will. When compared to the input, definitely the output will be, amplitude of the output will be more. Okay, but the gain achieved is less. When you apply larger input, the gain will be more. It's like that. Okay. And this you people can easily understand, correct? It's a normal phenomenon. Fine. So now what is that we are seeing? This is a non-linear amplifier. What is this non-linear amplifier? So here that linearity doesn't exist. So if you are applying a small input, the gain obtained could be very large. Okay, so if you are applying a very large input, the gain obtained could be very small. Okay, so whatever the gain that you're, it is amplification. Definitely amplification should happen. Okay, so let us take it here. Okay, so if you are going to apply a large input, so the gain obtained may be, see, here for a small input, you achieved a larger gain. The output value is so much here. Okay, the amplified output is having a very high value. Whereas here, by even when you apply a bit more input, but still gain achieved is not that big when compared to the previous case. Are you getting this one? So this is what linearity is. So you cannot establish a linear relationship. Okay, so here it's not that as and when the input increases, it's not the case that the gain increases. So gain may vary. This is how you can draw a graph. Okay, so for the small input you may have larger gain, for the large input you may have smaller gain. It's like that. So there is no linear relationship exist. Okay, so this is what nonlinear amplifier is. Definitely the amplification is going to happen. Don't, no need to get confused. Amplification is going to happen, but that linearity you cannot, we cannot promise. Okay, so that is what they mean here. How exactly that linearity is achieved? So when you introduce this diode in this feedback, in this negative feedback, so this will um, what allow that non-linearity to introduce into the circuit. So let's see how exactly or what exactly this diode is going to do so that this non-linearity comes into picture. So here you can see input you are applying to the non-inverting terminal, sorry, inverting terminal, right? So here when you apply the input, so when you are applying small input, what should be the gain? Gain should be also, so gain should be very large, correct? So for small inputs, the obtained gain should be large. So how is that happening? So because you are applying small input, so here what is this? This is the anode of this diode. Here the positive voltage is small. Okay, so after amplification, what is the voltage at this point? So at this cathode point, the voltage applied will be large. So here the cathode is having more positive voltage than the anode. So guys, this I hope you people very well know. So it's not that always you need to apply plus here and minus here for this diode to become forward biased, or always you need to apply minus here plus here to become reverse biased. It's not the case. Okay, so if at all, if you apply here some positive voltage, and here if you are having more positive voltage, here if you are applying 2 volts, here if you are applying 5 volts. Why is Navyashri calling me? So guys, let me take up her call. Is Navya here? So guys, what happened? Any issues with anyone? Okay, so let me continue. So guys, any issues regarding the class or with the voice audio, you can tell me. So Navya is not here, right? Yeah, let me continue with my topic. Okay. Yeah, what I was telling, yeah, I was introducing to you regarding this uh, more positive and less positive, correct? So here, if you apply less positive voltage to the anode and if you apply more positive voltage to the cathode, so then also this diode is reverse biased. Okay, so now here, because the input voltage applied is small compared to the output voltage, so this diode acts as reverse bias. It means that it acts as an open circuit. Okay, so meanwhile, what you can tell, so because you are applying a small voltage here, the gain obtained is very high. Got it? Okay, so the other way, what happens when you apply more voltage? Okay, so when you apply more voltage, what happens? So here, fine. So here when you apply more voltage, so this becomes forward bias because it is having more voltage. Anode is having more voltage when compared to the cathode. So only when it takes some portion of the output, so here it becomes forward biased, and what happens, it whatever the voltage that it has obtained here, the gain that has obtained here, everything flows back as a feedback. Okay, so this acts as a shortcut, and a small amount of output will flow to the output terminal. Got it? So thereby the gain obtained for larger inputs will be small. Okay, so this is how the nonlinear amplifier works. So guys, any doubts? Any doubts, guys? So if not, let me move to the next topic. Fine. So yeah. So guys, the next thing is coming to the application of the nonlinear amplifier. See, in a bridge rectifier, if at all too much of voltage variations or if it is there, so then what you can do, so you can apply, you can connect this, the output of this bridge rectifier, if you connect it to the nonlinear amplifier, so you can achieve null. Okay, so it means that, so if at all, if too much of voltage fluctuations are there, so if you are having high voltage here, so then this will be handled by nonlinear amplifier and you will have small output. Okay, so this is what the application of nonlinear amplifier. So is any issues in joining class? So that day itself I had made clear, right? So guys, from now onwards, I'll not be sending the link. So I have auto set everything. So simply you will join. Prarthana, okay, fine. Prarthana, you belong to which section? A or B, or within 1 to 90 or above 1 to 90? So I have sent everything to your class group ID link for above 90 students. Okay. So if you have not received the link, only three links you will be having. Every Friday you'll be joining the class with the same link today, whatever Navya has shared. Okay. So the similarly for Monday as well as Tuesday also. So same link. So Monday and Tuesday you'll be getting. So if you want, I request Navya only to share those two links also, similar to today how she has shared. Okay. So the same link will be maintained throughout. Okay. So for A section people, only today they'll be joining this one. From next class onwards, they'll be joining Asha ma'am's class. Fine. and she will be sending the link. She is also setting up the similar setup, so where she'll be setting three classes and that links will be shared and you people have to join with the same links. Fine. Okay, so from next class onwards, no need to wait for the link. Fine, you can save this link and you can join it with the same link. If your mail ID doesn't exist in your class group and if you didn't get the invite, no need to worry. Okay, and I have also enabled auto admit so you people can easily, if you are in the right link, you can easily get inside the class. Fine. Okay, so moving on next. So I hope I made myself clear regarding the class thing. Any doubts? No, right? Okay, so if at all any difficulty if you are having, you people can talk. Fine? Yeah. So with it, let's move to the next topic, that is relaxation oscillator. So what is this relaxation oscillator? So guys, this working you people will easily understand. So because we have already discussed the multi-vibrator, correct? So here, what is this relaxation oscillator? So this is a lab syllabus for you. So this is a lab experiment. So you have this in your lab syllabus. See, relaxation oscillator is a circuit which keeps on oscillating. Okay, so it keeps on oscillating between 2 points. Okay, so here this circuit is oscillating between plus V saturation and minus V saturation. Okay, so happens here, from minus V saturation it goes to plus V saturation, from plus V saturation it comes back to minus V saturation, and this goes on. So why it is called as oscillator? So there's no need for you to apply the external input again and again, so like you did in monostable. So it's not like that. Okay, so in monostable what you did, so you apply one trigger, you take one output. Okay, so one wave. Okay, so next apply the second output, so then you'll get the second cycle of output. So here it's not like that. So here it's a like a stable multi-vibrator. See, a stable multi-vibrator is also called as free running multi-vibrator, correct? So that is nothing but an oscillator here. So there is no need to apply the external input. Simply your circuit will keep flowing from positive to negative, negative to, or whatever it could be between two states. It's like that. Okay, so this is what a relaxation oscillator. Fine. So here, whenever the circuit, whenever the capacitor is charging, you will have T on. Whenever the circuit is discharging, the circuit relaxes. Okay, so it will be there in the T off or minus V saturation. Again, when the capacitor is charging, then you will have T on. Again, the circuit relaxes, charges, relaxes, charges, relaxes. So that's why it is called as relaxation oscillator. Okay, so this is one more application of op-amp. Okay, so on screen you're seeing the circuit diagram of relaxation oscillator. So here, coming to the explanation, see, coming to the waveform, this is compulsorily you have to write. So here the capacitor charges between these 2 points. When the capacitor is charging, you have plus V saturation. Okay, so the output is in the plus V saturation. Whenever the capacitor is discharging, the output is in the minus V saturation. So writing waveform is also very simple. So next is coming to the explanation, working part. Okay. So coming to the working part, here, initially, let's assume that capacitor is in the discharge state. Okay, so capacitor is in the discharge state, and let's assume that output is in the plus V saturation. So once the output is in the plus V saturation, here also the output voltage at this point, non-inverting terminal will be, so according to the voltage division rule, so it will be V saturation into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. So this is what the voltage at this point. Okay, so now what happens, so initially the capacitor was in the discharge state, so we assume that output is at the V saturation. According to that, here the voltage is this one. Okay, so this is the UTP formula or VUT formula. Okay, so UTP and LTP we have already discussed. Okay, so now what happens? Slowly the capacitor starts charging through R. Okay, so slowly when the voltage at this point exceeds the value of this one, okay, so what happens, this output, it will go to the minus V saturation. Okay, so because the output is went to minus V saturation, so here automatically this becomes minus V saturation into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. So what happens to the capacitor? The capacitor starts discharging. Okay, so till when it starts discharging, so till the value of this is above this minus V saturation into. So once its value falls below this one, what happens again? The capacitor starts charging and the output will move from minus V saturation to plus V saturation. Okay, so this keeps on happening. The circuit keeps on doing it internally until and unless you switch off that circuit externally. Fine. Okay, so here you can see plus V saturation. Here the reference voltage minus V saturation. So the total time period is the plus of those two. Okay, so plus of those two, the formula is T is equal to 2RC natural logarithm of 1 plus beta divided by 1 minus beta. Ma'am, how did we get this one? So what is T? T is nothing but T on and T off. Okay, so what is T on and T off? So T on and T off is you are going to get it by using these two formulas, the derivation, these two formulas. Okay, so the derivation we don't have, it's okay. So here they have given us directly this formula and we need to write this formula, that's it. Fine. Okay, so next, coming here, beta stands for this feedback factor. Beta value is R1 divided by R1 plus R2. Okay, so guys, any doubts here in this relaxation oscillator, whatever we have seen? If you're not having any doubt, then let's do this problem. Very important problem from the point of examination. So they have asked this question repeatedly so many times. Okay. So I have already told you when it comes to the numericals in this module, so most of the times they won't even change the values also. So values will also be the same values will be given. Fine. So guys, take down, refer to the relaxation oscillator circuit of the below figure, determine the peak to peak amplitude and frequency of the square output given that the saturation output voltage of the op amp is plus or minus 12 volts. Okay. So where is the diagram? Okay, so this diagram I have not given. Fine. This is the diagram. Take down the diagram. This is the diagram. So here, what is it they have given? R1 value they have given. It is 47 kilo ohm. Okay. So is it visible? R1 is equal to 47 kilo ohms. Okay, so what about R2? R2 value is 10 kilo ohm. R value, what is the R value they have given? 10 kilo ohm. So this is what they have given. And formula, let me give you the formula. This is the formula what you need to use. Okay, so guys, first what you need to do, first you need to calculate the beta value. So how do you get beta value? You will substitute the values of R1 and R2, where you know both R1 and R2, right? R1 value is 47, R2 value is 10 kilo ohms. So you will substitute and you will calculate beta value first. Next, you will calculate the time period. Okay, so time period, uh, you will calculate T is equal to 2 RC, natural logarithm of 1 plus beta divided by 1 minus beta. Okay, so what is that they have asked? Determine the peak to peak amplitude and frequency. Okay, so once you get a T, okay, so once you get T, you can easily calculate F, because you know F is nothing but 1 divided by T. Correct? So here they have given saturation. Yeah, let's come to that part later. So anyone calculated? Let's see. Vansh, for what you have typed no, ma'am. So guys, did anyone calculated the value, T value, beta value? So guys, did anyone calculated the beta value? What is the value of beta? No one. So guys, are you there or did you sleep? Fine. Let me continue. So coming to the beta values, you guys, when you substitute R1 and R2 values, so this is what the beta value that you will be getting, 0.825. Okay, when you substitute that beta value to this time period, okay, so this is what, see, 2 is a constant, R value, you know, they have given it as a 10 kilo ohm. Okay, so next C value, capacitor value, 0.01 microfarad is what we have considered. Okay, so C value I forgot to write there. Okay, so you can take that value. So next beta value, when you substitute, this is what you're going to get, 0.469 millisecond. Fine. So next, once you get T, what is that you are going to do? If you take the reciprocal of that T, you'll be getting the frequency value, 2.13 kilohertz. Fine. So next, B peak to peak. Okay. So what is that they have given? Saturation output value is plus 12.5. So what is the saturation value? See, we have seen that even this is plus V saturation, this is minus V saturation, correct? So what is that they have given? In the plus side it is 12.5 volts. Okay, so in the minus side it is 12.5 volts. See, now if you want to find out peak to peak voltage, this is the voltage between these 2 points. Okay, so what is the voltage between those 2 points? It's 2 into 12.25, which is nothing but 25 volts. Got it? 0.01 micro, 0.01. Let me write U. Okay, so guys, any doubts here? First of all, did you solve? If you solve, then only you will get the doubt, no? So, oh, guys, you have replied. Thank you. Yeah. So I have already displayed the this way. So I hope you have got the same values. Fine. Okay. Fine. So I think we can move for the next topic. The next topic is current to voltage converter. So guys, these two, current to voltage converter, and the next application is voltage to current converter. Okay, so this is also for 3 to 4 marks. So most of the times they have asked. Okay, so what do you have here in current to voltage converter? See, by using the op amp you can perform this one. If the input applied is current, then the output what you are getting is voltage. Okay, so this conversion you people can easily do by using this op amp. Okay, so on screen you are seeing the circuit diagram of that one. Okay, so this conversion, sorry, so this conversion is basically done uh, by using the Ohm's law, and this you people know it very well. Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. Okay, so here what we are doing, here we are doing current to voltage conversion. Okay, so current to voltage conversion, the what will be the output? So here this converter is called as a trans resistance converter. Okay, so trans resistance amplifier. Okay, so here this thing and all, an ideal trans resistance amplifier makes a perfect current to voltage converter having a zero input impedance and zero output impedance. What exactly is this one? So guys, this, I don't know how much you people will understand. See, this is an amplifier, right? So here you have the input side, here you have the output side. Okay, so input side what you have current. Okay, so output side what you have voltage. Okay, so here what is that they have given? It should have zero input and zero output. So input impedance should be zero, output impedance should be zero. So why is it so? If you are applying the input here, so obviously you should have a input resistor here. Okay, so this is the amplification unit. Okay, so this input resistor, what should do? The impedance of this input resistor should be as less as possible. See guys, this denotes the current source symbol. Okay, so this arrow mark denotes the that it is a current source. Okay, so normally this is what the students make mistake here. So what they are going to do, so here you should specify it as a current source. Okay, so if you write like this, then it is wrong, you will not get the complete marks. So here whatever the input that you are applying, everything should be available at this input side, correct? So here if you don't maintain the zero resistance here, then what happens? So the drop will happen, correct? The entire current cannot flow here. Okay, so that's why here the input impedance should be zero. Fine. So similarly at the output side also, so whatever the input that you output that you are applying, so that should be entirely available at the for the load service. Okay, so voltage drop should not happen in between. So that's why, so don't worry about too much of those things if you are not understanding also. Okay, and coming to the feedback also, so voltage shunt feedback. So because our output is a voltage, right? So obviously whatever the feedback that you are giving is also voltage feedback. Okay, and if you give it in parallel, then it is called as voltage shunt is nothing but parallel. If you're giving it in series, then it is called as voltage series feedback. Okay, so don't worry about too much about those things and all. Okay, so here the output voltage conversion will be taken care by using the op amp. Okay, so what do you need to write? So if they ask, you need to write the circuit diagram. So you have to write this one if you can remember. So if not, you people can simply write that voltage to current converter can be done by using, or it's one of the applications of the op-amp. So here current source will be connected at the input side, and at the output side we are going to get the converted output. Okay, so the expression to represent the output voltage is V naught is equal to I into S, where IS is given by VB minus V out. Okay, so VB minus V out, because it's a feedback point, divided by R. Okay, so here VB is, well, because of the virtual ground concept. If you know this one, fine. Otherwise, forget it. So no need to scratch your head on these things. Fine. So if you are capable of writing these three formulas, so it's well and good. Fine. So similarly, voltage to current converter. So how it is done, all those things. So it is out of the scope of our syllabus. Fine. So we are not seeing all those things in detail. Okay, so you're going to get a direct question. So if you can remember, so if you only thing is that you need to do is remembering these three formula plus the circuit diagram. Okay, so here when it comes to the voltage to current converter, so here the input applied is voltage, output what we are getting is current. Okay, so here also, here what you can do, the applied voltage you can convert it into current. So here we are seeing two circuits. One is floating ground and the second one is ground loaded. So it means that here the output terminal is simply floating. Okay, so this is the first version and this is the second version. So here what we are doing, so this second, in the second version, this output terminal is grounded with the load. Okay, so here you can see two resistors are connected. This is the load and it is grounded, load grounded. Okay, so these are the two variations. Okay, so what is the difference between these two? Nothing. So here simply we are going to seeing the circuit, and here we are connecting some load. See, in the last class itself I have told you. So simply here we never use practically. Always practically, that has to be driven by some load. Correct. So that's why two variations they have given, rather than that thing. There's nothing to worry about these things. So here what you need to do, you need to write the expression for the output current. Okay, so again by V is equal to IR, you know how do you get the output current? I is equal to V by R, that's it. Okay, so if this one is grounded, so here there is a bit mathematical this thing. So here I1 is at this point, correct? So this I1 is given by V in minus V2 divided by R, correct? The voltage at these 2 points, my divided by R, correct? So similarly I2, where we are considering the I2, so this one we are considering as I1 and this one we are considering it as I2. So this I2 is nothing but V2 minus V naught divided by R, the voltage between these two, current flowing between these 2 points. So V2 minus V naught divided by R. So this load current IL is given by I1 plus I2. So I1 we have calculated here, I2 we have calculated here. Just add here. Okay, so you will get the value of IL. Okay, so here you can just see, if when you add it, V in plus V naught minus 2V2. Okay, so next IL is equal to V in plus 2V2 minus 2V2 divided by R. Okay, so how did we get this minus 2V2 plus 2V2? So here you can see here this is the gain. Okay, so gain is equal to 1 plus R by R. So this R by R here gain for this particular circuit. Okay, so you remember in the last class we saw the non-inverting. See, this is the here the gain for this op amp is 1 plus RF by R. So we have seen this when we discussed the active filters. Okay, what is the value of R? Here everywhere we have taken R only. Okay, so that's why, since we are considering R both all the same values for all the resistors, so this will become R plus R. This is nothing but R divided by R gets cancelled, 1 plus 1 2. So that's why we are having V naught is equal to 2V2. So these two V2 get cancelled, and here we have IL is equal to V in by R. So here also we had VI, input VI, okay, divided by R. Here also we have IN is divided by R. Okay, so this is all about the voltage to current converter. So the next topic is voltage regulators. So a small topic in the chapter, I don't remember the chapter number in the textbook. Yeah, it is from the chapter 8. Okay, eighth chapter. What exactly this voltage regulator is? So voltage regulator is a kind of voltage. Okay, adjustable in that you have only 8.5 for your syllabus. Okay, so this adjustable voltage regulator is a voltage is a, it's a kind of regulator. So guys, first before seeing the adjustable voltage regulator, let's see what exactly the voltage regulators are. So you know that. So you have already we have already seen and we have used these voltage regulators at our home, correct? So it's a circuit which keeps the output voltage constant under all the operating condition. The input may be the input uh, may be having so many fluctuations, correct? So, but these voltage regulators, what they are going to do, so they maintain a constant voltage under all the conditions, okay? So that it protects our electronic devices, okay? So if at all if there is a very large variation in the applied voltage, so that may damage the internal parts of the electronic equipments. So this provides these voltage regulators, it provides from happening that way. Okay, so here this is a block diagram of a voltage regulated power supply. So when you apply this pin, so what happens inside, it will have a transformer, it will have a rectifier, filter, regulator, and this is what the regulated output is. Okay, so when you apply this input from the transformer, you will get the same input, and from the rectifier, half wave rectifier, it cuts off the half portion. So then filter, it allows only some frequencies, and this regulator, it converts uh, to the DC, and you will have a regulated DC output. Got it? So this is what the block diagram of a regulated power supply is. So next, adjustable voltage regulator is, so here the output voltage can be varied over a range. Okay, so you will have some range. So for example, whatever could be the applied input voltage, so the output of this regulators will be between this 1.2 to 57 volts. So it will be varied only in that range, neither below to that one nor above that, neither below to 1.2 nor above 57. It's like that. Okay, so there this LM337 is one example, sorry, LM317 is one example of such adjustable voltage regulator. It's a positive voltage regulator, so which has a range in the positive values. So similarly you have LM337, it's an example for negative adjustable voltage regulator. But for our syllabus, we had just have this LM317. So this here is the connection of LM317. So you will get this LM317 similar to IC. Okay, so it is having these three pins. To pin number one, you are going to apply the input. Okay, so pin number two, you will be having the output. Pin number three is internally connected to these two resistors, out of which one is the variable resistor. Okay, so depending upon the input voltage, how much you are applying, so this resistor, it gets adjusted to that itself. Okay, so that your output, because of this relationship, so V naught is equal to VR into 1 plus R2 divided by R1, sorry, plus I adjust into R2. So depending upon the input voltage, its value get adjusted. So if you are applying too much voltage here at the input side, then the resistance of it will be very large. Okay, so that the output of the voltage here will be less. So if you are applying too much voltage, so like 250 volts and all, so then the resistance automatically gets adjusted to that one, so that your output will be 57 volts. It's something like that. Okay, so depending on your application, depending on your setting, depending on the value that you have taken for R2, so this voltage, it gets adjusted between these, between this range. Okay, so 1.2 to 57 volts. Okay, so coming to the advantages, these are the advantages of this adjustable voltage regulator. So over fixed voltage regulator, so this fixed voltage regulator we have not discussed only, so simply you can just take it off and you can write like this. Okay, so otherwise if they in the examination, if they ask like this, so then also you people can write the same point. Okay, so guys, this ends up the module 1 except this part. So any doubts here for anyone? Any doubts? So guys, here only this chapter 9 we have not discussed. Okay, so what are the topics that we have left here in chapter 9? What did I do? Okay, so D to A converter and A to D converter. So what is this D to A and A to D converter? So D to A converter is digital to analog converter. A to D is analog to digital converter. Okay, so because here in both the things, they will use register, registers, and they will use counters. Okay, so once we complete the digital part, so we feel that you people will understand this better rather than teaching it now. So this will be taught in the last class of the third semester. Fine. So once we complete our syllabus of counters module 5, we'll just visit. So it will take half a class. Okay, so it will take around 40 minutes. That's it. Okay, we can complete that when once we complete module 5. Okay, so except this topic, we are done with all the topics, and this notes will be shared. Okay, so here, till here I have completed till the voltage regulators. This PDF will be shared, and to this you need to add this whenever I circulate. Got it? So, and at last, at the end of the semester, I'll be uploading one more updated module 1. So, in which I'll be adding these two. So, getting the proper PDF is your duty. Fine. So this PDF I will add. So I thought of completing it by today only and uploading it, but sorry, I couldn't do it. So I will give it in a separate part. Okay. So at the end, once again, I will upload the club thing. Okay. So don't neglect this one. So here also you will get very straight questions, and because I just want the effort of yours, memorizing effort, to get reduced. So that's why I'm keeping this at last. Got it? So that you people will understand the working of it. So less things will be there to memorize. Am I clear? So guys, now let's break for the attendance. Any doubts you people can ask. So be ready to answer your attendance. So once I take up the attendance, we are starting with the digital part. Fine. Ouch. 10, yeah. 15. Today's date is 18. Asta? So guys, make it fast. Asta? So if you don't respond, then
Yes,
I...
ma'am.
Yeah. Yusuf Khan? Abhijit Kumar? USN 4, Abhishek? Mishra? 5. So USN 5 is absent. Adish? Aditya? Pratap? Aditya Pratap Verma? Yeah. Aditya Raj? Okay. Akanksha? What is this? Akhil or Akhili? USN 11. Yeah. Akshita, Amog, Amog, are you here? Okay, so Amog is absent. Sir is sleeping after logging in. Yes, Amog, sir. Fine. Next, Anaga. Anagashri. Okay, Ananya, yeah. Shivani. Okay. Ankit. Ankit. Ankit, USN 18. Absent. Ankita. Okay. Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Now he replied, Amog. Okay, fine. So 17. Where is 18? Okay, so 18 is absent. Correct? So 18, Ankit Kumar is absent. USN 18 is absent. 19, okay, given. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 26, Bhargav. Bhargav is absent. 27, 28, yeah, guys, keep typing. 29, 30, 30 is absent. Chandan. 31, 32, very good. Next, keep typing, guys. 33 is absent. If I don't get, I will put absent. 33, 34, yeah, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 36, 37, 38, 39, yeah, 40, 41, okay, 40 is absent. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 46, 47 is absent. No, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, present. Okay. 52, 52, 53, 54, 55. Okay, 52 is absent. Okay. 53, 54, 55, 56, 57 is absent. 57 is absent. Ishan. 58, 59, 60. Jayam is absent. Yeah. 61, 61. Okay, it's in the sheet. 47, you noted. Yes. Yes, Gaurav, given. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 61, 62. Yeah, given. 63, 64, 63 is absent. Okay. 64. Yeah. 65, 66, 67. Okay, 65 I didn't get. 65 is absent. That is Kamal Nayan. Okay. Then 66, 67 done. 68, 69, 70. 68 is absent. Moinuddin. Okay. Okay, 70, 71, 72, 70, 74, 75. Okay, 73 is absent. Lavanya is absent. Okay, 74, 75, 76 given. 77, 78, 79, 80. Okay, one second. 76 I got. Kamal, where were you, sir? You want me to change your attendance? Fine. Given Kamal. Okay. So 76, 77 I didn't get. 77 is absent. Okay. 77 is absent. Next 78. 78. Okay. 79, 80, 81. 82, 83. Okay. ಮಂಜೇಶ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ರಿ ಸರ್? ಆಯಿತು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಆಯಿತಾ. 80. ಓಕೆ 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 85, 86, 87, 87, ನಾಗೇಂದ್ರ 88, 89, 90, 88, 89. Yeah, Shruti given. 89 is not there. 90 is not there. Okay. Navya. So I should take up my attendance now. Navya.
ಅವ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲೇ
ಏನ್ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಮ್ಮ? ಯಾರದು? Okay. Navya. 91, 92, 93, 94, 94, 95, 96, 94 absent. Niharika. Okay, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. 97 Nitish. 97 is absent. Okay, 98, 99, 100. 98 is absent, no? 98 is Omkar is absent. 99 I got, 100 I didn't get 100. 100 is Sai Tarun. Sai Tarun is absent. Okay. So here 94 is absent. 97, 98 is absent. 100 is absent. Okay. So next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Pradeep. 6 is absent. 7, 8. 6. Pradeep is absent. Okay. Next 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Pranav. Pranav is absent. 11, 12. Oh, Pranav present. Fine. Given, sir. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, 16. Preetham HK. Preetham HK, I didn't get reply. Okay. Preetham HK is absent. 116 is absent. 17. 18. What about 18? 18 is also absent. Who's 18? Prince. Okay. So 19 is present. 20. What about 20? Yeah. 106, 120. ಇವಾಗ ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ 106 ಬಂತು? ಪ್ರದೀಪ್ ಸರಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ 106. 106 given. So next I should take out 16 and 18. 116 and 118. Okay. So next 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Then I should take up C section. Yeah, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 27. Where is 27? Maruti is absent. Ranganath Maruti. Okay, so 127 is absent. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 8. 129 is also absent. Ronak is absent. No, 128 is present. Indu is absent, right? Indu is absent. 30. Venugopal is absent. 31 is present. Okay. So I should take out 127 done. 29, 30 I should take out. And 30. Okay. So next 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 35, 134. Rohan Gupta is absent. 134 is absent. Okay, 35, 36, 37, 38, 136 is absent. Okay. 137 is absent. 138 is present. 39, 40, 41, 136 and 37. 36 and 37 is absent. 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 42 to 142. Sangana Gowda Patil is absent. Okay, present 142. 43,
Ma'am,
40.
present, ma'am.
Unappa kotte kotte. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 146, 47, 48, 49, 50. 46. I didn't get 147. Who's 147? Shashank? Yeah, Shashank. I got 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 51 to 55. 51, 53, 54, 52. Yeah, 55. 55 is not there. 56 to 60. 56, 57, 58. Who's 158? Srinidhi? Srinidhi, are you there? No. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, okay, okay. Given. Fine. Yeah. So next, 61 to 66. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66. Good. Next, 67 to 171. 67 to 171. 167. Tarun is absent. 67 is absent. 68 is present. 69. What about 169? Usha is also absent. Tarun and Usha is absent. 70 present. 71 present. Okay. So Usha and Tarun, Usha. Okay. So next 72, 73, 74, 75, 76. 72 is absent. 272. Vansh. Vansh. I saw him. No, he slept. Huh? Okay. So 173, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 178, 179, 80, 81. 180. Okay. 178. Who's 178? Ravi. Ravi. Okay. 179 is there. 180 is there. 81, 82. Okay. Then Ravi. Vanch. And I have given to Tikshna. Fine. Tikshna. Vivek also given. Fine. What about this one? 60. ಹೋಗ್ರಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ತೆಗಿಯೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಏನ್ರಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು ಎ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅವರು ಅಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ಕೆಲಸನಾ 180 ಜನದ ಅಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ತೆಗೀರಿ ಒಂದಿನ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. 60. Changed. 33. Chirag changed. ನಿಮ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಡೋಂಟ್ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಎಸ್ ಆಶಾ.
Not to update the attendance. We'll keep repeating.
See, this Jayam and this one, no? See,
Yeah.
Jayam, you are repeating it again and again. See, okay, don't repeat from next time onwards. Okay, Jayam and whoever 33, whoever it is. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's close this one and let's start with the digital part. Okay. Module 2, AD module 2. So guys, still we have 40 minutes time. So I think we can start with the introduction in today's class so that we'll start with the actual syllabus from the next class. Okay. Yeah. So guys, see on screen you're seeing the syllabus of module 2. Okay. So from where exactly your syllabus is starting? From the minimum form of switching functions, 2 and 3 variable K-maps. Okay. So before we move here, I would like to know, so why is this digital subject is there for you? What do you guys think? Okay, so why do you have this digital electronics where you deal with the basic gates and all? So I hope you people have already studied this one and all. So have you studied about these basic gates? Yes, you have studied, correct? You remember? Guys, you need to reply. Else I will simply put, see the attendance is here only. So I will simply put absent all if you don't reply. See in front of you only I'll put absent all if you don't reply. Yeah. Okay. Enough, enough, enough. Okay. Yes, ma'am doesn't specify anything. Okay. So what do you think? My actual question was this one. So what do you think? Why, what is the need that we need to study this digital electronics? So why do we need to know about these gates? Why do we need to deal with zeros and ones? What do you think? So I'm asking, I'm expecting answer for that question, not yes, ma'am. See, so many yes, ma'am, he got. Because it's easier for the machine to understand it. Yeah, here he's at the right track. Okay, so guys, whatever the things that exist in the real world are analog, whether it could be your voice signal, the light ray, or the sound wave, or the scenery, whatever you are seeing. So everything that exists in the real world is analog, right? But what about computer, transistor? So guys, you forget about transistor now. Okay, so the transistor was that we require only for module 1. So now we are closing that chapter. Analog chapter is closed. Got it? So forget about transistor and forget about analog. So now we are purely jumping to digital world. Fine. So from now onwards, no transistor, no filter, no pump, nothing. So only gates. Got it? So only digital. So switch your minds. So no transistor now. Okay, so whatever in the real world that exists, it is in the form of analog. But what about our computers? So what do you think they, as he said, the computer can understand only digital things. Okay, so it is capable of understanding only zeros and ones. Okay, so this computer is capable of understanding only zeros and ones. Other than the zeros and ones, so it doesn't know anything else. So whether it could be your audio signal, whether it could be your picture, okay, so your picture, your portrait, or whether it could be any text file, or whether it could be a movie, whatever it is, everything at the end of the day, it is getting transferred into it is getting represented in terms of zeros and ones. Yes or no? Will you agree? Correct? No? Yes or no, guys? Correct, right? So computer is capable of understanding only, yeah. So computer is capable of understanding only zeros and ones. Okay, so this 0 and 1 representation is what we are using in our digital electronics. The study of this binary and its relation is nothing but your digital electronics. Okay, so next, what do you have? So next you have something called as Boolean relation. Okay, so in this Boolean relation, you have different existing relationships. Okay, so what exactly is this one? So this will give you the relationship uh, between any two in the combinational circuit. So what exactly is a combinational circuit? So combinational circuits are the logic circuit where output is purely a function of input at that time. Okay, so this probably you will understand it once we see sequential circuit. Okay, so now how much ever I try to explain, you people won't get it. Okay, so now for the time being, just understand that. So we are studying the combinational circuit, and these relationships you know, you have already studied. Okay, so what is this? So these relationships, these formula will help me in simplifying a Boolean algebraic expression. What is this? What do you mean by an algebraic expression? Ax plus by is equal to c. Is it an algebraic expression? Is it an algebraic expression? Yes, correct. Here, these variables will take only binary values, only Boolean values, 0, 1. Okay, 0 means false, 1 means true, something like that. Only two values. So that's why they are called as Boolean algebraic expression. Got it? So here they will take only two values. Okay, so now if you are having a plus b, you can write it as b plus a. Okay, so if at all, if you are having a into b, you can write it as b into a, and it's a commutative law. Okay, so before coming to the next class, take a pic of this one. Okay, so this you should be knowing this one. Okay, so summary of the Boolean relationship. So if you have not read this one, or if you're having any doubts why it is, so you can refer this and come to the next class so that you can easily understand the things. Okay, so why are these, so are you done? Okay, so why are these relations, or what is the use of these relations? So when you have a Boolean expression, when you have an algebraic expression, so these laws will help me in simplifying that one. Ma'am, why do you need this simplified expression? Sir, I need this simplified expression to build a logic circuit. Okay, why do you need this logic circuit? So that I build a digital equipment. So I may want to build an embedded system. Okay, so I may want to build an ATM machine. So inside which we are having all these circuits. I may want to build a computer. Okay, so how do I want it? So I want it so that I use minimum number of gates. Okay, so why you want to use minimum number of gates? It is because I want to save the space. Okay, so I want the machines to be as small as possible. Okay, so that's why I want to simplify it. Okay, so these by simplification by using these rules is what you have studied in your second semester. Okay, so now we are seeing the advanced version of this one. Now we are simplifying that. We're not simplifying it by using these rules. Okay, so we are not simplifying it. So why are we not simplifying it? Why are we moving to the K-map method? What is the disadvantage of this one? Yes, ma'am, by keeping this table, I'm going to simplify everything. Why are you pushing? Why are you taking us to this K-map? It is because here the identification of the terms to be minimized depends on individual ability. So some may find some terms that may get evaluated, some may not find it. So it depends on individual capability, recognizing the terms and simplifying it. Okay, whereas in this KMAP, yeah, bit of it exists here also, but still compared to this applying rules, so this is a very simplified, very easy way which gives the accurate solution. Got it? So that you can minimize the expression, so that you can build the circuit with as minimum gates as possible. Got it? Why are we doing that simplification again? So it is because of the perfectness of this K-map method. Got it? So next, coming to this, when this ICs and all, so these ICs, when we give you the lab experiment introduction and we start digital part in our lab, so we will explain you what is that you need to know. So for the time being, you need to know that this is the NOT gate, or this is how we represent the NOT gate. So I hope this much knowledge each and everyone is having. So if you don't have, uh, or if you don't know these things, if you are having any confusions, so better come prepared for the next class. Okay, so that you don't land in confusion or you don't lag behind. Got it? So this is the what the truth table. This is how it works. This is what the expression is, and I expect you people to be um, prepared with these things if you don't know before coming to the next class. Okay, so this is the IC representation. Explaining this is our responsibility. We will do it when we start the digital part in the lab syllabus. Okay, so what is that you are expected to do? Not gate, symbol, how it works, what is its truth table. So this is what you should be knowing. Fine. So next, OR gate, symbol, expression. This is what it's going to do. AND gate, symbol, expression. What is that it is going to do? Okay. So to get a high output, both the inputs should be high. This is how you will tell. You have to tell me when I ask you the AND gate operation. Got it? When only both the inputs are low, the output will be no. Else the output will be high. This is how you have to tell me when I ask you how the OR gate works. Got it? So what about the NOR gate? It's the inversion of OR gate. This is how it is represented, and this is what the truth table is. Similarly for NAND. Similarly for XOR. Okay, so when you have different inputs, you have one as the output. So here when you have same input in the XOR, the output will be 1. Else the output will be 0. Okay, so if you know this, well and good. Else, please study and come before coming to the next class. So next, one more thing. So guys, today we are not starting with a K-map. Okay, so I'm just giving you all the basic things, whatever it is required to start with a K-map. Okay, so now when I say you have, or the input is represented with 2 bits. Okay, so what are the, or let's start with 1 bit. From, if I tell you that input is represented with 0 bits, that doesn't make any sense, correct? So it's a nonsense. So next, if I tell input is represented by 1 bit, then that expression you are going to represent it as f of a, something like this, correct? Assumption, that's it. So we don't have any problem now. It's just an assumption. So now tell me, what are the different values this a is capable of taking? What are the different values A is capable of taking? So guys, I want you to respond right now, else absent all. Shall I press? Yeah. Good, Pranav. Yeah, good, good. So the value that it can take is zero. So guys, do you want me to blackmail you regarding the attendance each and every time? No, right? So now you are not in your 11, 12, or you're not in your first and second semester. You have grown up, right? So now you have entered the branch. So please respond. Okay. And I also don't like for you people to blackmail with your attendance or marks, whatever it is. So please be a bit responsive. Fine. Yeah, this A is capable of 0 and 1. Very good. When I say input is represented by 2 bits, so you can write it as f of a comma b. Then what are the values this 2 is capable of taking, or how do you write the truth table? So how many values it will take? So here how many value it took? We are talking about binary. Okay, so 2 power 0. 2 power 0 is nothing but 1 bit. Sorry, 2 power 1. So what is this is here I have made that. So how many bits you are using? 1 bit. So what is the possible values? How many possible values are there? 2 power 1, two values. Which are those two values? 0 and 1. So similarly, when I tell input is represented by 2 bits, so f of AB can be represented by how many values? And which are those values? Exactly. So as Kavya is telling and others are telling, it is 2 power 2. How many values? 4 values. Very good. And which are, yes, Navyashri has given us those values. So which are those 4 values? When you write A, B here, A can be 0, B can be 0. A can be 0, B can be 1. If A can be 1, B can be 0, this can be 1. Okay. So for the people who know this well and good, so this bit you're going to represent it as 2 power 0. This bit you're going to represent it as 2 power 1. Okay, so this you have already studied. So if you have not studied, so if you have not understood this one, so better you come prepared, better you read and come prepared for the next class, else definitely you will lag behind. Take it from me. Got it? So any confusion, any doubts if you are having, you can ask now and I'm ready to clear it. Okay. So if not, please study and come. So here this 0 and 0, this value is 0. Okay. So 0 into 2 power 0 plus 0 into 2 power 1, that's why it becomes 0. Okay. If you know this, well and good. So this is nothing but your 1. If you want to represent it in decimal, then this is 1. Okay, so if you want to represent how this is 1 into 2 power 0 plus 0 into 2 power 1. So this is what you should be knowing. This is what I'm expecting from you. If you know it, good. If not, you can ask your classmates. Those who know, see, most of them they have answered here, right? So they will be knowing. You can contact any one of them, or you can visit your Google, or you can visit your YouTube, and please come prepared with these things, or else so everything will, whatever I'll be telling will look like French and Latin for you. Fine. So this 1 0 is nothing but 2. When I say 2, you're not supposed to write 2. So if we are dealing with 2 bits, then you have to write 1 0. If we are dealing with 3 bits, then you should write 1 0 1. If we are dealing with 4 bits, then you should write 0 0 1 0. So you should be fast in all these things. Got it? So that's why this basic knowledge is very, very important. Fine. So this 1 1 is nothing but 3. So guys, are you getting this when what I'm telling? Are you understanding? You know these things, right? Okay. But some people will be there. So who don't know these things, and we have faced and we have seen such students in each and every batch. So that's why we repeat this before we start with the actual problems. Got it? So if you know this one, if you are understanding this one, well and good. Fine. So if not, please listen carefully. So please ask if you're having any doubts, or else come prepared for the next class. Okay. So similarly, in continuation with this one, if I tell that input is represented with 3 bits, okay. So then input function, you can write it as a comma b comma c. Then how many possibilities will be there to represent this function? How many possibilities? Exactly. Very good. So how did you get the 8? It's because 2 power 3 is equal to 8. And which are those values? When you write A, B, C, so this 2 power 0, this is 2 power 1, this is 2 power 2. Okay. So what is this? So this will be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. This is 2, 0, 1, 2. I'm writing 1, 2, 3. 3. This is 4. You should be knowing how to write 4. It's not that simply you write 4 like this. Okay, so you should be knowing how to write 4. Got it? So next 5, 1, 0, 1, 6, 1, 1, 0, 7. Okay, so anyone is there who don't know these things? How to write 6 in binary? You have to write 6 in binary. You need minimum 3 digits to represent 6. Okay, so 110 is how you write 6 in binary. Okay, so if you want to represent this in 4 numbers, you will write 0110. Okay, so we don't deal with 5 bits in our syllabus. So let's forget this one. So you should be knowing how to represent 4-bit binary numbers. That is what I'm expecting. Got it? So, and one more thing what you need to know here is, so this 2 power 0 bit, this is called as the LSB bit, least significant bit. This is the bit that is having least weightage here. So this is called as MSB. This you will also study in your computer organization subject. So this you will be knowing it very well. When I tell about LSB and MSB in theory as well as in lab, you shouldn't open your eyes wider. So you should be knowing very well that which is the LSB part and which is the MSB part. So if I interchange here, so if I interchange C, B, sorry, if I interchange A, B, C, so this should not bother you. When I tell A is the LSB, this is the representation what I have given in the manual. Okay, so if I write here A, B, C, then A is the MSB, C is the LSB part. So this representation, this is a user defined. So this can vary from person to person, whereas value doesn't vary. So it's not that as soon as you write ABC 110, when you write like this, so when I write ABC like this, your 6 doesn't change here. It's not that A and B 1, C and C is 0. So this is not the representation of 6. What is this? This is the binary 3. This is binary 6. Why? So that is because of this weightage, 2 power 0, 2 power 2. Okay, so that's why this is called as LSB and this is called as MSB. So this you'll be studying in detail in your computer organization subject. Okay. So if you don't know about this LSB, MSB, please be prepared. Okay. So please refer to those things and come to the before we proceed with the subject. Okay. So next, the last one is regarding the 4 bits. Okay. So how do you represent a 4-bit function? A comma B comma C comma D. How many different values we have? Yes, you people are guessing it correct. It's 2 power 4, which is nothing but 16 values. Which are those values? 0 to 15 are the values. How do you represent? You need 4 bits. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. And this truth table also you should know how to write. If you don't know, please practice. 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0. So guys, and I want this in the same order itself. So some people have the habit, whatever they get in mind, they will write that one. 8, 9, 9, 10. Yeah, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 10, 11, 12. Double 1, double 0, double 1, 0, 1, 13, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so the shortcut you can remember 8 zeros. First column will have 8 zeros, 8 ones. Second column will have 4 zeros, 4 ones, again 4 zeros, 4 ones. Third column will have 2 zeros, 2 ones, 2 zeros, 2 ones. Alternate zeros and ones at the last column. So this will be 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3. Okay, so guys, you should be knowing how to write this truth table also. Okay, done with your presentation. Either presentation. So guys, I hope that you know how to write the truth table and you are understanding what I'm speaking. So if not, please visit the recording once again. Okay, so I'll be sharing this with your class group ID. Fine. ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ತಂತ ಆಯ್ತಾ So guys, any doubts in today's class? So in the next class, we're starting with a K-map. So if you don't know how to write this truth table and all, please learn and come. Fine? Okay, so guys, if you are not having any doubts, let's wind up today's session. Thank you all for joining.